I'm Tom Gledhill. I'm a former business owner and business broker and the author of the best-selling book, Exit Pro System. Studies have shown that over 80% of small businesses that go to market don't sell. So I developed the Exit Pro System to help small business owners increase the value of their business, make more money, and make their business saleable. This is the beginning of a series that will discuss each of the 16 value drivers that I defined in my book and present tips and hacks on how to increase the value of each value driver. We're going to start with industry, our value driver number one. The industry that you're in is essentially your market universe and has a significant effect on the businesses operating within it. How an industry is trending impacts the value of businesses within it. Investors are reluctant to invest in an industry trending downward. Some industries trend up and then disappear when new technology makes them obsolete, like the teletype industry. Other industries trend up, then down, and then up again, like the US auto industry. The value of a business fluctuates with the trend of the industry. The size of the industry can also affect value. Can you increase your customer base by selling to potential customers that presently don't have a similar product or service to yours? Or do you need to steal customers from a competitor in order to increase your market share? How sensitive is your industry to the economic climate? Some industries, like the financial services industry, take a big hit when the general economy goes down and increase substantially when the general economy goes up. Others, like the healthcare industry, are not so sensitive to the fluctuations of the general economy. What can you do if your industry is in a downtrend? You should survey your customer base and follow up with a phone call to your best customers. Ask why they are buying less of your product. Have their needs changed and they need a different product to meet those needs? What are those new needs and what are their needs going forward? You may have to change your product to meet those new needs. This may sound like a formidable task, but consider this. Your company has customers, revenues, trained staff, systems, channels of distribution, and infrastructure. It took years to develop all that, but to determine your customers' changing needs and adapt your product service to meet those changing needs might only take a few months. And if your product service only needs to be tweaked to meet the new needs, it may only take a few weeks. Let's take a look at a real life example here. A few years ago, a fellow that owned a job shop called me and asked me to look at his company. He was doing poorly and was considering bankruptcy. So I went over, talked with him, evaluated his company, and told him I didn't think it was saleable. His industry wasn't doing very well at that time. Sales were going to India and China, where it was much cheaper. So a couple of weeks later, he called me and he said, I just got a request for proposal across my desk, and I'd like you to take a look at it. So I went over, talked to him, looked at his request for proposal. And since I had done dozens of these during my career, I whipped off an outline for him and told him to call me when he finished. So a couple of weeks later, he called me and he said, I'm done. I'd like you to look at it. So I went over, looked at it, did some editing, and we sent it in. And a couple of weeks later, he called me and he said, I won. Since then, he's done very well with the company he was working with, and he's expanded his market to include a number of other medical device companies. So now he's in the medical device industry. Now, Ron, his name was Ron. Ron was very lucky in this case. Now, you don't have to be lucky, but you do need to be proactive. Well, that wraps up tips and hacks for our value driver number one, industry. In the next video, we're going to discuss tips and hacks for company, our value driver number two. So until then, I'm Tom Gledhill, and I'll see you at the next video.